If your digital world were a paper world, would it look like a big, huge pile on a desk with random papers everywhere? Or would it be neatly organized and you can find whatever you need within just a few moments? My digital world used to be crazy and now it's peaceful and calm, and today I'm showing you how to do it. For those who are new, I'm April Perry. Welcome to Learn, Do, Become. We're so glad to have you here. I wanted this to feel easy and fun, so I put together 4 simple pieces to the puzzle that you can apply right away. Locations, categories, naming, and processes. And I promise if you just take a couple of minutes, watch this video, take some notes, you're going to find this is going to give you such a lift. We're going to start with locations because we might be wondering, well, where do I even keep my digital files? There's tons of options, but first I just recommend that we have just a few spots. So I'll talk more about mine and share what those are, but if you can consolidate as much as possible, it's just fewer places you're going to look for things, fewer places where you have to pay storage, etc. So just keep them as consolidated as possible. And then next we want to organize by size and type, meaning if you have really, really huge files, you might want to put them in a place that's less expensive to store, etc. Or by who needs access. So sometimes you have to share files with people at work or with family, or you want to post things online. And sometimes you want these files just private, so that's another thing to consider. And finally, it's just ease of retrieval. I love to have as many files as possible available just from my phone where I can get them whenever I need them. But sometimes we do want things a little more private or stored away, or we only need to access them when we're at work or something like that. I'm going to walk you through what I personally use, and as technology changes, these will change as well. But I just want you to get a sense of how I think through it. So first is Google Drive. I have one for personal and one for business. This is where I keep most of our shareable documents, spreadsheets, and images for personal and professional work. Next, we use Dropbox. I have one account and it has a personal folder and a business folder. This is where we put really large files or large groupings of files. So things like our YouTube channel, our video and audio recordings, things that I need for the business. We also have a lot of our family history scans, things on there that I want to keep all together and keep them private, but I do want to share them with my family. I use Evernote on a daily basis. This is on my phone mostly, but it's mostly personal notes, screenshots, journal items, brainstorms, family and home management details, just random photos of flyers or pictures of my handwritten notes, things like that I can access easily from my phone or computer. And then finally, I use an external hard drive with a duplicate, and this is for long-term private backup storage of all the family photos and videos and key business files, etc. Now let's go look at categories. I actually have the same general categories across all platforms. So if you were to go into Dropbox or Evernote or Google Drive, you're going to see all the same things. And mostly for me, it's things like my personal stuff, family stuff, church items, Learn, Do, Become items. And then I might have a few other categories of things I'm working on at the moment or special projects. So if you can generally have the same categories, then it's so easy because when you go into that specific place, like I go into Dropbox, I know I'm going to go to the Learn, Do, Become folder to find my videos, and those are all stored and organized. You also want to have very specific, easy to identify subfolders. So just because I'm here on YouTube right now, I'll just talk about how that works. Inside of Evernote, I have a Learn, Do, Become folder, and I have a subfolder that says YouTube. And this is where I just like to do my brainstorming. What would be fun to talk about on a video? I might scribble something in my planner and take a picture of it. But what's nice is in Evernote, I can have pictures and text and audios and whatever I need, and it's just a beautiful canvas right from my phone, and it's private, so I can write things that I might, delete later, not a big deal. But then inside Google Drive, I also have a folder called Learn, Do, Become with a subfolder that says YouTube videos. And this is where I keep my outlines that I'll share with my daughter Grace, who does the video editing. So she can access the outlines and use it as she's, putting the video together. She doesn't need to see all my brainstorms in Evernote, but I like putting it in Google Drive because it's really easy to just create a link and send it over to her and she can access that. So that's what I'm talking about when we say we're going to organize by, size and type, who needs access, ease of retrieval. Because just for YouTube, I'm using Dropbox, Google Drive, and Evernote, but because the purpose is different, it's so easy for me to know exactly where to go to find what I'm looking for. Now let's just jump over to naming, because we all know how it is when you're trying to find that file and you're like, what did I call it? So I encourage you to maximize your keywords. There's usually no limit to how long a title can be, or it can be pretty long. So whenever I'm titling something to put it away, I'm thinking, what would I possibly type in to search in order to find this? And if there's 3 or 4 or 5 options, I just put as many as possible in the title so I can find it really quickly. And even putting an acronym in, like for example, for our insurance, for our healthcare, we use Christian Healthcare Ministries. But sometimes I might just search CHM. So just having the ability to put the acronym or the full thing, or maybe a little more detail, it's going to help you to be able to always know when you go to search, it's going to pop up. And then for repeating file types, I do recommend starting with year.month.day. So this includes things like photos. For example, on our hard drive, we have a backup of each person's phone, each person's nice camera, whatever. And so we'll put the phone or the device as the subfolder, and then we have it organized by months. So we always do year.month.day and maybe have a span of time. So when we're looking, it's all in order and it's really easy to find. This is just the kind of thing that I do recommend taking a little time to create, because when you have it just organized by date, or in our podcast, our audio, we have it all organized by episode number, just having it show up in order is going to be so helpful, because maybe you aren't like me, but I have old files where I just named something random and threw it in. But then honestly, now when I look at it, I have no idea what it is. So just a couple of seconds as you're titling, adding in that date, it's going to help you to be able to locate it quickly. Now we're at the very last one, which is just our processes, because if we create a system and then we don't maintain it, then it's not going to hold. But here are a few things that can help. First, sometimes it's just a matter of capturing information and then filing it where it needs to go. Inside of our STEP program, we often talk about having a someday or an incubation where you put things you're not going to take care of right now into a place where you could find it in the future. But you don't always need to file it as a someday or an incubation. I think of Evernote, for example, or OneNote or Notion. There's all kinds of different options. I think of it like my digital filing cabinet. So let's say someone drops off a little card for tree trimming on my front porch. And I think, well, I don't really want to trim my trees right now. I don't know what to do with this card because I might want to call them. I'm not going to stick it on the fridge because it doesn't just take up space on the fridge. So I could just take a little picture of it, put it into Evernote, label it tree trimming, and then I can find it when I need it. It doesn't need to be categorized in a really special way. I probably would put it in like a general home category that I have. But just the idea that as you get information, file, do the titling, give it all the names and keywords, and then just put it away. You're going to be able to access that when you need it, and then you don't have to keep all the paper copies around or keep all the information out in front of you or tabs open all over your computer, right? This is where we're just going to capture it and file it. Now, as far as linking to related projects, what I mean by this is if you create some information and it's a document or maybe it has pictures or links to other things, and you know you're going to use it as part of a project or a future task or a calendared event, just take that information and include a link to it where you write down your project. So I'll just give an example. We just created a really fun welcome kit at Learn to Become. And I had a Google document where I wrote down everything that I wanted to put in the welcome kit. I also had some little pictures I'd sketched and things like that. Now, we keep our projects inside Asana. That's our digital project management tool. And we have other videos on how to organize that. But I wanted to have all of the information I'd put together right there with that project. So when we go to work on it, I'm not thinking, oh, did I put this in this folder or this folder, or where is it? Or, you know, that type of thing. So it's so easy to just add a link into a digital calendar, into a digital project manager, and just have it accessible, because you might think, oh, well, I'll know where to find it. It's fine. But when it comes time to actually get working and you're thinking about a lot of things and maybe it's been 3 or 4 weeks, you might just forget. So having the ability to just link, most digital resources out there give you an ability to just create a little link. So easy to pop it in. And then tidy as you go. I know sometimes we don't want to. We feel like, oh, it's so much better to just leave things on my computer desktop or take a screenshot and just let it go into the, flow or whatever. But I promise you, if you just make it a habit every day to clear off your desktop, to put screenshots where they belong, to link the files where you want them, quickly label, put them away, it saves you hours and hours in the future and just takes a moment, especially as it becomes a habit. I know that digital filing and getting everything organized might not seem like the most fun thing to do at the moment, but when you make this a project to just set up your digital files, when you make decisions on where you're going to keep things, which file storage options you're going to decide to pay for, and how you're going to be able to keep track as far as all of these components we talked about today, it takes so much stress out of your life. And because our lives are increasingly becoming more digital, it makes all the sense in the world to get control over it now, because it's going to alleviate the stress in your life. It's going to help you to feel like you can take on whatever is required of you, and you're going to wake up more excited and go to bed content. So we have a couple more options for you if you want to go deeper. Number one, we do have our welcome kit. It's at learndobecome.com/welcome. We'll also link it in the description. And we have a emails to zero resource. This is where if you're thinking, okay, I love this with my digital files, now I want to have my email inbox empty most of the time and just feel awesome, and come click the link in the description where you can sign up and you can get your emails to zero. I think probably about 30 to 40 minutes. It's a game changer. It's so fun. Okay, we'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.